Om Deva Sudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. We're continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Part 1, Summary of Lord Gaura's Pastimes, Adikhanda, first chapter, 170th verse. Sheshakhande Ramananda Rai Uddhara, Sheshakhande Mathurai Aneka Vihara. In the Antekhanda, the Lord delivers Ramanand Rai and performs various pastimes in Mathura. Ramanand Rai was a governor of Kalinga under the rule of Maharaj Prataprutra, the independent king of Odisha. He was the eldest of Bhavanand Patnayak's 5 sons. He wrote the drama Jagannath Vallabh Natak, and he was a most intimate devotee of the Lord. Throughout South India, there was no other unalloyed devotee of Krishna in the Ragmarg comparable with him. So that's why Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had told Mahaprabhu, when you go to South India, please meet Ramanand Rai. शेषखंड श्री गौर सुंदर महाशाय दबीर खासेर प्रभु दिला परिचय. In the Antekhanda, Lord Gaurasundar reveals himself to Dabir Khas. Dabir Khas is a Mohammedan name of Srila Rupa Goswami. He was born in Karnataka, Brahmin family. His father was Kumar Dev, his elder brother was Sanatan Goswami, and his younger brother was Shiv Vallabh or Anupam. The Lord gave him the name Shri Rup, by which he became famous in the society of devotees. So Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, so they had become, they were known by these names under Nawab Hussain Shah. Prabhu chini dui bhair bandha vimochana, Shesha nama thui lena rupa sanatana. The two brothers achieved liberation by recognizing the Lord, and they became known as Rup and Sanatan. Sheshakhande Gaura Chandra Gela Varanasi, Napaila Dekha Jat Nindaka Sannyasi. In the Antekhanda, the Lord goes to Varanasi, where the blasphemous sannyasis cannot recognize him. The ancient city of Varanasi is inhabited by highly learned scholars and situated on the banks of the Ganges. It's also inhabited by many Mayavadi sannyasis of the monist school who criticize the devotees and devotional service. Because they criticize the devotees and devotional service, these Mayavadi sannyasis are known as Nindak or blasphemous sannyasis. So, yes, Varanasi is the seat of many Mayavadi sannyasis and so-called philosophers. And there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he preached to Prakashanand Saraswati and his disciples, and they all became Vaishnavas. But even now, there are so many Mayavadis over there. Sheshakande Punanila Chale Agamana Ahar Nisha Kari Lena Hari Sankirtana. In the Antekhanda, the Lord again returns to Nilachal and engages day and night in Sankirtan. Hari Sankirtan refers to a group of many devotees offenselessly chanting together the names and glories of the Supreme Lord Hari. Sheshakhande Nityananda Kathe Kadivasa Kari Lena Prithvite Paryatana Rasa. In the Antekhanda, Lord Nityananda travels throughout India as a wandering mendicant. The word Paryatan Ras refers to the occupational duties of a Parivrajkacharya or wandering mendicant. अनंत चरित्र केह बुझित न पारे चरणेनुपुर सर्व मथुरा vihare. No one can understand Lord Nityananda's unlimited characteristics as he wanders about Mathura with ankle bells on his feet. Sheshakhande Nityananda Pani Hati Gram Chaitanya Agyaye Bhakti Karile Nidane. In the Antikanda, Lord Nityananda distributes devotional service to everyone in Panihati on the order of Lord Chaitanya. Panihati is a village on the bank of the Ganges near Shodhapur station on the EBR line. The houses of Sri Ragha Pandit and Sri Makar Dhwaj are situated here. So this is little north of Kolkata, close to Kolkata airport, but north of that. Beautiful place. And ISKCON has a nice temple there. Sheshakhande Nityananda Mahamal Rai Vyanikadi Uddharila Parama Kripa. In the Antekhanda, the commander-in-chief of the Kirtan party, Lord Nityananda, delivers the merchant community. The term Mahamalla Rai indicates the commander-in-chief of the Kirtan party. Sheshakhande Gaurachandra Mahamaheshwara Nilachale Vasa Ashtadasha Samvatsara. In the Antekhanda, the Supreme Lord, Sri Gaurachandra, resides in Nilachal for 18 years. Ishwar refers to the worshipable object of the control, while Maheshwar refers to the controller of the controllers. The chief controller of all Maheshwars is Mahamaheshwar, from whom all Ishwar Tattvas and Maheshwar Tattvas are born. In other words, Sri Gaur Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, and the Lord of all Lords. He is the Supreme Lord. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not an incarnation, he is Krishna himself. Sheshakhande Chaitanya Ananta Vilasa Vistariya Varnite Achena Veda Vyasa. The unlimited pastimes of Sri Chaitanya in the Antakhanda will be described by Vyasadeva in the future. Yete mate Chaitanya Gaite Mahima Nityananda Priti Bada Taranahi Sima. If one somehow or other glorifies Lord Chaitanya, then Lord Nityananda becomes unlimitedly pleased with him. Dharani Dharendra Nityanandera Charana Deha Prabhu Gaurachandra Amara Sevana. O Lord Gaurachandra, please allow me to serve the feet of Nityanand Prabhu, who as Anant Shesha holds all the universes on his heads. The word Dharani Dharendra refers to the Lord of Shesha, who supports the universe. In other words, Shri Balram Nityananda is the source of all Purusha avatars. Eita Kahilun Sutra Sankshepa Kariha Tin Khande Arambhira Iha Igaiya. In these sutras, I have thus briefly described the contents of this book. Now I will begin to narrate these three divisions of pastimes. Adi Khanda Katha Bhai Shuna Ekachitte Shri Chaitanya Avatirna Hailaye Namate. My dear brothers, please now hear attentively the topics of Adi Khanda regarding the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chand Jana Vrindavan Das Tachu Pada Juge Gana. Accepting Shri Chaitanya and Nityanand Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. The word Chand means moon, and the word Jan is a phrase, noun that means life. Another meaning of Jan is the verb to know. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, before speaking about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, or ending the chapter, he's saying, is praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Chapter 2, The Lord's Appearance. This chapter describes the appearance of the Lord's elders and eternal associates by the desire of the Lord. The godless atmosphere of Navadvip, Sri Advait Prabhu's worship of Krishna with water and tulsi leaves, the appearance of Sri Nityananda on the 13th day of the waxing moon, prayers offered by the demigods to the Lord in the womb, the appearance of Sri Gaurachandra on the full moon night of the month of Falgun and amidst the congregation chanting of the holy names, and the joyful celebration of the Lord's appearance. So he is about to appear actually here also. The science of the Supreme Lord and his various incarnations is difficult to understand. What to speak of ordinary living entities? Even Lord Brahma cannot fathom the science without the mercy of the Lord. The statement of Lord Brahma in the Srimad Bhagavatam is evidence in this regard. Although the cause of Supreme Lord's appearance is most confidential, the statements of Bhagavad Gita reveal that Lord Vishnu appears in every millennium in order to protect the pious people, deliver the miscreants, and re-establish the principles of religion. Therefore, the author has pointed out that the chanting of the holy names of Krishna is a religious principle for the age of Kali. Shri Gaur Hari has appeared along with his abode Shri Navdvip to propagate this youth dharma. The author also explains that by the will of the Lord, great devotees and eternal associates such as Ananta, Shiva, and Brahma appeared prior to the Lord in various impious families and impious places where the Ganges does not flow and the holy names are not chanted. So, so before the Lord appears, his devotees and eternal associates, they had to appear in different families. And it's written impious families and impious places. So they appeared all over Navadvip to, to associate with the Lord in his pastimes. Just like before Krishna appeared, he had sent demigods and his associates to take birth in Yadav family and all over Braj Mandal. They appeared to perform, to help Krishna in his pastimes. In this way, such families and places were purified. The author also describes how after the appearance of Shri Gaur Hari, his associates joined him in Navdvip to assist in his Sankirtan movement. At the time of the Lord's appearance, Sri Navdvip was most prosperous. Millions of people took bath at each of the bathing ghats on the Ganges. By the benedictions of Saraswati and Lakshmi, the residents of Navdvip were absorbed in scholastic pursuits and material enjoyment. But there was ample evidence of people's aversion to Lord Krishna. Although it was the beginning of Kali Yuga, people exhibited the behavior foretold for the future of the age. People considered their religious duty was to worship demigods such as Manglachandi, Vishahari, and Vasuli. They thought the purpose of having money was to spend it for enjoying the marriage of their sons and daughters or the marriage of their idols. So they would hold amazing celebrations and spend so much money in the marriage of their sons, daughters, and in the marriage of idols, like like we do Tulsi Shaligram Vivaha also, but they were mostly worshipping demigods as Mangala Chandi, Vishahari, Vashuli, and and if they didn't have sons and daughters, they would marry their animals, get married, and just spend money. Since the so-called Brahmins and scholars maintained the ass-like mentality of accepting only the gross meaning of the scriptures without understanding the actual purport, when they tried to teach their students, both teachers and students were bound by the ropes of Yamaraj and led to hell. Even the so-called austere renunciates did not chant the names of Hari. Everyone was maddened with pride on account of their high birth, opulence, knowledge, and beauty. At that time, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, along with pure devotees like Srivas, loudly chanted the names of Lord Hari. But people who were averse to the Lord continually harassed and teased the non-envious pure devotees. They continually harassed. And listening to the chanting, they would say, oh, Muslim rulers will come and they will imprison us, they will break our houses. They don't like this kind of chanting, so why don't you just shut up? It's And just imagine, it's Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was Mahavishnu himself, combined form of Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. And he had to listen to this. Where he wanted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and start the Sankirtan and preach. And then everything would be auspicious. Shriva, so was Narad Muni himself. But he wouldn't retaliate, he would also just listen and laugh and keep going with his kirtan. They were all waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear. When the compassionate Sri Advaita Prabhu saw people's extreme aversion to Krishna cause great distress to the devotees, he began to worship Krishna with water and tulsi with a vow to bring about the advent of Krishna. So this he read somewhere in one of the scriptures that if you worship Shaligram Shila with Ganges water and tulsi, and then you ask for any benedictions, that will happen. Before the advent of Lord Gaur Hari, Shri Nityanand Prabhu, who is not different from Lord Baldev, the elder brother of Krishna, appeared from the womb of Padmavati, the wife of Hadai Pandit, in the village of Ekchakra in Radhadesh on the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magh. Meanwhile, in Navdev, Shri Vishwarup Prabhu, who is not different from Nityanand Prabhu, appeared as the son of Shachi and Jagannath, after the many daughters had met early deaths. So, just like in Krishna Lila also, 6 brothers of Krishna, they were killed by Kamsa before Balramji was transferred to the womb of Rohini, and then Krishna appeared in the prison house. So here, 8 daughters died before Vishwarup appeared, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So those 6 sons of Devaki who had died, who were killed by Kamsa, they represented 6 anarthas in our heart. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya. I mean, they were persons also, but this is what they represented. So these 6 anarthas first have to be removed from our heart. Then Balramji appeared. So Balramji is considered Adi Guru, and also he carries this plow. That's his weapon. So with plow and a farmer, he makes the land. He tills the land and makes it ready for cultivation of crops. So it is said that first we have to remove these anarthas from our heart, then prepare our heart, land of our heart, by mercy of Balramji, so that the crop of Krishna Prem can be planted there. Then Krishna appears in our heart. Now here 8 daughters of Shachi Mata, they had died. They represent Ashtasiddhis. So 8 Siddhis, first those desires have to go away. And then Nityanand Prabhu appears, his Adi Guru, who gives us the instructions, and Al Balram also prepares our heart for Krishna Prem, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear, who can give us Krishna Prem. So all those material desires first have to go away. Of course, in our case, more we engage in devotional service, slowly, those material desires go away. But Krishna Prem cannot appear until all those anarthas are gone. Desire to enjoy ourselves, Ashtasiddhis, they are gone. A few years after the advent of Shri Vishwarup, Shri Gaur Hari, the original personality of God, had appeared in the hearts of Shri Shachi and Jagannath, who are non-different from Devaki and Vasudeva. Understanding this, the demigods offered prayers to Lord Shri Gaur Krishna, the supreme absolute truth and source of all incarnations. who was situated within the womb of Shachi. Shri Gaurchandra, the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement, appeared during an eclipse on the full moon night in the month of Falgun. As everyone engaged in the congregation chanting of the names of Hari. So, as soon as he appeared, he had started this congregation chanting. But he didn't lead this. There were people chanting because it was a lunar eclipse, and they were taking bath in Ganges and chanting the names. This chapter ends with the jubilant celebration of the Lord's advent, accompanied by the chanting of auspicious hymns and demigods' visit to the house of Shachi in the form of human beings. So demigods would also visit and to take darshan of little Nimai. Text 1. Jai Jai Mahaprabhu Gaura Sundara, Jai Jagannath Putra Mahamaheshwara. All glories to Mahaprabhu Shri Gaur Sundar. All glories to the son of Jagannath Mishra, the Lord of all lords. Jai Nityananda Gadadhera Jivana, Gadadharera Jivana, Jai Jai Advaitadi Bhaktera Sharan. All glories to the life and soul of Nityananda and Gadadhar. All glories to the shelter of the devotees headed by Advaita Prabhu. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was the foremost amongst Mahaprabhu's intimate devotees. As he is the origin of the Shakti Tattva, he was present in the Lord's pastimes at both Navadvip and Nilachal. He lived first in Navadvip and later he lived as a Kshetra sannyasi in a sub-forest near the ocean at Nilachal. So Gadadhar Pandit is actually Srimati Radharani herself. Came as his brahmachari in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. It's written, he is the origin of Shakti Tattva. So he was present in the Lord pastimes at both Navadvip and Nilachal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he appeared with external reasons for to propagate Sankirtan movement, and deliver the people, give them Krishna prem. But internal reason was he wanted to taste Radharani's love. He wanted to taste his own beauty that through the eyes of Srimati Radharani, and wanted to feel the ecstasy that Radharani feels by looking at him, looking at Krishna. So with these desires, he wanted to come. So he told Radharani, Krishna tells Radharani in Golok Vrindavan that I've stolen these things from you. I'm going to taste this. Radharani told him that even if you steal them, steal these emotions from my heart, you cannot taste them until you have a guru who can teach you all this. You have to have a guru. And who could be guru to teach Krishna the emotions of Srimati Radharani? It has to be Radharani herself because there's nobody above Radharani. So she said, I have to come with you. But since you're going to be a sannyasi, then I have to come as a brahmachari. I cannot come as lady. So that is why Gadadhar Pandit, Radharani came as Gadadhar Pandit to teach him the emotions, the real ecstasies. The pure devotees who worship the sweet feature of Shri Shri Radha Govinda take shelter of Gadadhar and thus become known as intimate devotees of Shri Gaura. Those who are not enthusiastic to worship the sweet feature of the Lord perform devotion service under the shelter of Nityanand Prabhu. Mhm. So they both are gurus, Balramji and Radharani, Nityanand Prabhu and Gadadhar Pandit, but in different mood. Some of Gaura's devotees, like Sri Narhari, were followers of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, who had taken shelter of Gadadhar under the consideration that Sri Gaurasundar was his only worshipable Lord. Some people call Sriman Mahaprabhu the life and soul of Nityananda, and some people call him the life and soul of Gadadhar. Of course, he is both. It just depends on the mood of the devotees. They're not insulting or rejecting the other, but their mood is more aligned either towards Nityananda Prabhu or Gadadhar Pandit. Shri Gaurasundar was also the lord of both Shri Advait Prabhu, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, and Shrivas Pandit, the incarnation of Narad. The Panch Tattva has thus been described in this way. Shri Gaurasundar is a form of a devotee. Shri Nityanand is the expansion of a devotee. Shri Advaita is the incarnation of a devotee. Shri Gadadhar is the energy of the Lord. And Shrivas is a pure devotee. Shri Gaura enjoys pastimes in these five features. So that is Panch Tattva. And they all have come together, of course, for them to relish the devotion, the moods of devotion, and to open the floodgates of Krishna Prem for everybody to drown in. And this is what they had come to give us. Okay, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, did Mahaprabhu not meet Raman Roy in South?
Yeah.
But you just narrated that he met him in Varanasi.
Not Varanasi. He met Sanatan Goswami in Varanasi.
Utkal.
So, no. He was a governor of Madras, but under the kingdom of Odisha. That Maharaj Prataparudra was a king of the whole India.
So he was ruling Madras also. He was the king of Madras.
Yeah, it was under Utkal at that time.
And who had instructed at Varanasi Mahaprabhu to meet Ramanand Roy? Somebody had instructed him to meet him in South or in Neelanchal only. Somebody had told him. Sarvam Bhatta. Sarvam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.